Hi everyone, Melissa here. Today I'm going to be doing a kind of holiday-ish design that was requested by someone in my Facebook group by the name of Sheila Ronan. I also had somebody in my Discord channel that had requested I do a snowflake, and snowflake is part of this design. This is actually a design that I've seen recreated a lot recently. It's been really popular, and I think it's great. It's beautiful. I'm excited. I'm gonna add a little bit more to it. I'm just gonna change it up just a little bit because that's what I like to do. I'm gonna go for more of a, oh, by the way, here's the design so you can see. I'm sure you've seen other people doing this design. If you haven't, then here you go, here's your first time. But I'm gonna be kind of moving it more towards a nude pink instead of a pink pink. I'm gonna be adding a third color into the candy cane stripe, and then I'm going to be doing a little bit more detailed snowflake than what is there. Not much more detailed, honestly. That's a pretty well detailed snowflake, but I've been wanting to try this snowflake design for a while and I just hadn't gotten around to it, so just combining a lot of things into one. So I will stop talking so much and get into the colors I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using Gold Digger by Revel. Yes, I have these in separate jars. These I've had for a while. I shared with somebody, so that's why these are in these jars that are hand labeled. Gold Digger by Revel and Crown by Revel. By the way, I do have a code for Revel for my channel that I'm not sure if they have it set up yet. She said she was setting it up, but it's Melissa10, and you can get 10% off a single purchase. So it can't be used more than once by any individual, but you can get 10% off all items on the website with that code. It's Melissa10 for 10% off, and I'll put that in the description as well. So yes, Gold Digger and Crown, and then I'm going to be using Perfect from Dipp'd, so I have a nice opaque white, and that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put down, I think I'm gonna do mostly Gold Digger. I'm gonna make this as little sparkle as possible because that's just my life. And I'm gonna go ahead and put Gold Digger down on these four nails. Okay, now I've got that down. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on, I'm gonna do the color black nails. So I'm gonna do pretty thin lines here. I'm gonna be using my nice little color black tape here. I love this stuff. It's nice and thin, but I think the lines are gonna be even thinner than this. So I'm just gonna pull it down or put a new piece on for each layer that I do. I'm just gonna do one layer at a time. And it's gonna be a process, but I think it'll work out fine. I have not actually tested this yet, but I believe in the power of the tape and in my ability to color block here. So I'm going to start with just a really thin strip right here. I'm going to start with Gold Digger, making sure the tape is kind of like really pushed in to the cuticle here, so it goes on the entire part of the nail. I did put a layer of dip base down before I started this process because I have peel base on and I didn't want to peel up the peel base when I peel off the tape. I'm going to do 2 layers. Trying to move pretty quickly. I don't want the dip to get too hard before I peel the tape off. Okay, now I'm going to be using crown. I'm only going to do one layer of crown because it covers completely in one layer, and then I'm going to do a layer of clear over the top. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and activate this and then just give it a little bit of a file just to file it. The edge is smooth, and then I'm going to do a dip of clear over the top. Okay, now I'm going to get into the Snowflake. So the tools I'm going to be using for this, I have a dotting tool. It's a pretty small one. I'm actually going to also be using the tip of a orange stick. I had a 1mm dotting tool and I don't know where that went. So I'm going to use this instead. It'll have the same effect. I'll be using my little detail brush here, which I need to get a new one. The bristles on it are starting to separate. They aren't staying together very well anymore. And I'm going to be using the Gelish Art Form 2D Technology Gel. And I believe that's it to create this design. So I'm going to go ahead and put a layer of gel base coat down on this nail. Okay, I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. This is just to give a nice seal on top of the dip powder before I put the gel down, just because the dip powder is still porous and it does like to kind of soak gel in, and I want to make sure that this doesn't happen. So I'm going to go ahead and cure this for 30 seconds, then I'm going to wipe off the tacky layer. I want a nice smooth non-tacky surface for this. Okay, so I'm going to grab the smaller end of my dotting tool here and just kind of dab it, dab it, dip it, dab it, I don't know, words, into the white gel. Just a little bit on the tip, I don't want a ton. And then we're going to pick where I want to put this. I'm going to do a little off center. So this is going to be the center of the snowflake. Nice clean dot there. So one of the biggest tricks to doing snowflakes well and without it being too difficult is utilizing dotting tools. I mean, they are amazing for getting all kinds of shapes. Dotting tools and a detail brush, and you can get a lot of things done and get some pretty intricate snowflakes done. So now I'm going to just kind of map out 5 equidistant, I'm going to do 5 equidistant lines coming off of this. And I'm going to kind of just use the tip here to try and make that happen. I'm just going to kind of map out where they would be. Okay, and then using those starting points and my little detail brush, this is probably the most difficult part because I'm going to be doing just some thin straight lines, but those are the only thin straight lines I have to do. I want to make sure that my bristles are not separating for this. Been having little ones just kind of branch off. It's time for me to get new brushes. Okay, now I'm going to be using the small dotting tool again. Again, just the tiniest bit on the tip here. I'm going to do a dot at the end of each of these lines. And then I'm going to do little dots on the side. Okay, now back to the brush here. I'm going to use it so I'm just pulling the edges of those little dots into a V. So I'm just pulling one edge of that dot into a V and meeting it with the line there. And then for the top one, I'm going to V it outward. Okay, now I'm going to do some detail more in the center. So I'm going to use the orange stick for this because it is smaller dots. I'm going to do 2 dots right on the inside. Okay, and then very gently going to take this again and just kind of pull the dots down. Gonna do a new dotting tool here again. I'm gonna do 1 dot on. And then use the brush to pull that one out. Okay, now I'm just gonna add a little extra stuff, like little detail. Okay, so I just did those little dots and just use the brush to pull out the edges here. Okay, I'm just gonna do a gel top over all of it. Okay, and there we go with the finished design. I think the candy cane design turned out really well, so I'm happy with that. And I love the snowflake. It was a lot of fun. It took a lot of patience, of course, but a lot of designs do. That's just the nature of it. I sure hope that this satisfies the request. And if you have any other requests, I may put one more Christmas mini in before the holiday. I'm not sure yet. But either way, as always, I appreciate all of you joining me and watching me and commenting and letting me know what you think. And I will see you next time.